Well, I thought I would get it done in part three, but looks like we got a little bit more to go. So, we've already talked about how structure is going to be different for a lot of the literary works of this period. A lot more fragmentary, perhaps lacking or avoiding grand statements about life or reality or truth or God. And, swift shifts in perspective and in voice in pieces of literature. And then going to tone, we're going to see some interesting developments as well. Irony is going to be even more prevalent than we saw in the previous volume. And we did get a bit of that, say, in Twain and Pierce, and, flashes here and there. But the idea that things are different than what they appear, or that what is happening in the narrative is very different from what the reader knows to be true about that narrative, is going to be something that we see again and again. Dramatic irony, we can call it, even though that refers to drama, it certainly refers to a literature that was meant to be read and not necessarily viewed as performance. Also, ambiguity, a lack of clarity or decisive judgment about what something is or what something means. Um, Again, this is about a very rapidly changing time. Old assumptions about the nature of religion, gender, even science are totally thrown into a different state of organization, if not outright disarray during this point. So, this vagueness, this shuttling or vacillating back and forth between different notions, ideas, or even poles is something we'll see a bit of too. Now we'll move to themes. As far as themes go, the modern era, which is usually what we will call 1914 to 1945, is often seen as a site of loss of tradition and history. Part of that is due to the rapid technological advances changing the rhythm of people's lives, but it also has to do with the fallout from some of the most horrific military conflicts the world has ever seen, notably World War I. It really makes people call into question, does anything ever work? Does anything ever mean what we thought it meant? And we'll see this come up again and again when we get to T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. It's a whole great big bummer poem using that as one of its many powerful themes. The search for meaning is another really important theme. Um, Even though life and the understanding of existence and what it means on a day to day basis, what we can take as given or true, would not be the same during this period. So there is an active sense in some of the literature that we will look at to try to pull meaning out of a seemingly chaotic or disarrayed or completely new kind of literary context or situation. What does it all mean? What does it all add up to? Popular culture is also going to be on the rise here. Part of this is due to technology. Radio is everywhere. You've got movies, you've got expansion and explosion of print. And just like that Thomas Hart Benton painting we're looking at, there's a certain, in some ways, lionizing or throning of popular culture, but there's also some tension with the other side of popular culture, that revealing it in some ways as being, uh, how can I put it, not life affirming, chaotic, brutish. Um, and again, popular culture runs the gamut. Some of it is incredibly inspiring, and it still is today, and can move people and help them, understand better, be better humans. Other popular culture just won't do that or will not reflect that. But it does kind of make us think about what the role of culture is in our lives. Is it something that represents reality? In which case, hey, warts and all, there's going to be stuff in it that isn't going to be pleasant. Is it realistic, or is it supposed to be inspirational or didactic? Should it show us how things should be to help guide us to become better people, to build a better society, to build a stronger, more life affirming culture? That's not going away anytime soon. Unacademic language. You're going to see an explosion of slang and phonetic spellings in some of the works that we read. And we've already seen a little bit of that, but it's definitely going to ramp up. People are going to be continuing to work with regionalist modes of expressing dialogue. That includes phonetic spelling, that includes specialized dialectical syntax or sentence structure, and also word choice. And expatriate culture, finally. Expatriate literally means from the father or away from the father. Patria also means the nation or the state. So, in other words, the culture of people who have left the US have been, for whatever reason, jaded by it and are living abroad. Think about people like Ernest Hemingway, Gertrude Stein, Ford Madox Ford, and a whole host of others that decide to live in places other than the United States, often Europe. We also see an explosion in themes regarding social difference, an expanded subject set that includes more emphasis on gender and ethnicity, social, economic class, and also region. And again, the diversity of America really starts to swell in the literature of this time. So it's an exciting period to read. And oh, look, I just kind of went backwards here. That was really all I had to say there. I just kind of cut it down because I kind of went off on a tangent there at the very end. So that's the end of part 4. I'll be setting up another video for Robert Frost, which is our reading coming up for Saturday. Do keep in mind you do have a rough draft due on Sunday. You can submit it right through Canvas. It'll be right through there as an attachment upload. And once you do that, I will set you up with a peer so that you can do a peer review with somebody. Now, if you already know you've got somebody that you'd like to work with, let me know. Maybe you know somebody from class before, or you find you're really gelling with somebody in the discussions, which, by the way, have been fantastic. It's been such a pleasure to read them. And I get to hear so many voices this way, and that's what makes it different from a regular class, but in a good way. But if you know there's somebody that you'd like to work with, let me know. If you're kind of like, hey, I don't care, surprise me, let's go to Vegas, whatever, let me know. Either way. If you don't let me know, though, I will just kind of go down the list there. And if you want to keep that person for the next essay assignment coming up, whether that be essay 2 or your big project, depending on the class that you're in, that's fine too. If you want to switch them up, that's also fine. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll be talking to you soon.